Okay, guys, so this is me for today. Um, you can hear me, but sometimes you won't be able to see me. So I like to cook with my hat on in the kitchen because I don't want food getting on my, no hair getting in my food. Okay, so, and I like to have a glass of wine while I'm drinking. You know, I've been drinking for a while, but while I'm cooking, I like to have a glass of wine. Stop the noise. I usually also like to have music in the background, but my miserable nephew is here, so he's gonna complain with the loud music. So, what I've done, so today we're gonna be cooking brown stew tofu with stir-fried teriyaki vegetables. I made it up. So what I've prepped for you here is this is tofu, firm tofu, extra firm tofu that I have pressed out and drained for you. After I have pressed it out, all I do is put the block of tofu on a big plate, put another plate over it, and put this big block on it. This is my cutting board. That helps, and then you drain off the extra water. Anyways, after I've done that, I have shredded a bit of cabbage and chunk cubes, red and green peppers, as well as half of onion, and I have put a bit of teriyaki sauce on it. Now, after I have you've prepped your food, what I'm gonna do is heat my pan with a bit of EVOO, extra virgin olive oil, because that's the best thing to cook your food with. And then while I do that, then I will get back to you guys. After I've done that, I will show you how it looks when I get back. So just give me a few seconds and I'll be right back. Okay, boys and girls, so I have placed some I don't think I can put this up here, but I'm gonna put it. I've placed a bit of extra virgin olive oil in my pan, and now I'm heating it. Can you see? I'm heating it because I'm gonna pan sear my tofu. So this is my tofu, and what I'm gonna do is use a bit of I'm just gonna place them in there with my hand before it gets too hot. So if you're not a professional, don't do this, or ask your mother and father for help. Now, all you do is place the tofu right in the pot. Yeah, so it's you hear it sizzling. So that's all you're gonna do is place the tofu right in there, right on in there. I have also cut up some onions. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys. I've also cut up some onions, as you can see in the pot here. But don't worry about that. Turn your heat all the way down to medium. You don't want to burn the tofu too much. Ouch. See, that's why you have to be a professional. I'm not. It would be best if you have a tongs, but I don't have a tongs. Ouch. Anyways, so you pop them on in there. Get a fork. That would help much better, so you won't have to hear me say ouch. That's embarrassing. But anyways, we progress. So yeah, it would be best if you use a fork or a tongs or whatever you have at home that won't cause you to burn your hand. While you're doing this, however, you will need to turn some of the tofu. You don't want to wait until you put everything in there to then turn your tofu. because it will burn. It's just like chicken. Tastes just like chicken sometimes, depending on who cook it. But I know when I cook it, it tastes just like chicken or whatever I want it to taste like. So all you do is go around the pan with whatever you've placed in there thus far and turn it over. So let me do it. And turn over your tofu. Make sure they're all brown. See, these are golden brown, right? You want them to have this golden brown color. Okay, so let me do that and get back to you guys and show you what I've done thus far. One thing I forgot to tell you, I'm still flipping. I'm still browning, but while I'm doing this, I would also like to tell you that I also prepared my tofu with, I have seasoned it. A lot of people don't season their tofu, and it's just, you should use it as if it's a meat you're preparing, you know. Anything that we're cooking, I like seasoning. I love a lot of seasoning. I guess it's the Indian in me, but I love spices and seasonings. So whatever I cook, even if it's a can of tuna, I have to put seasoning in it and spices. So I had put soy sauce, a little cumin, black pepper, seasoned salt, garlic. I also cut up garlic in the cabbage, onions, and so on and so forth. So just be mindful that whatever you're cooking, you want it, that is how the flavor and the taste comes about, you know. It just doesn't come about with how you cook it. It's what you put on it before you cook it. Cooking it is the least. So you want to season it well. And one thing you want to know is that cooking with olive oil is even better for you. I mean, oil is not good enough, but you want to use the best in order to enjoy your food as well. You don't just want to not use oil. You know, fat is good sometimes, but be careful of the fat. Yeah, so while I progress, see how golden brown they look. No worries if some of your onions get in there, but you want to take them out because they will burn and the flavor will be different. It changes the flavor when you burn your onions. I'm sure some of us knows that. So you want to make sure you don't burn any onions and take them out as soon as you find out that they are in there. So what you want to do is continue to burn them. I think, not burn, sorry, brown them. And once they look golden brown, you want to take them and transfer them out. What I normally do to drain off the excess oil, whether or not I'm using EVOO, I need to drain off my oil. I'm not a fan of oil. So I am going to layer these and take these out because they're looking wonderful. They look great, and I think it's time for me to take them out. So I'm going to take them out, lay them on a nice layer of paper towel so that the oil can be drained out of it. So I'm going to do that and have a sip of my wine and get back with you guys. So I'm back, and what I've done is to finish browning the tofu cubes that I had cut up and seasoned. I've browned them and laid them out on this paper towel in this oops, thank God my stove is clean, and I've put them in here so they can drain off. And also what I've done is to infuse it by putting a bit of Jamaican jerk seasoning on it so that while it is draining off, it can replace the oil with the nice flavoring of the jerk seasoning. You can see a lot of it on here. Yes, so let me set that aside And once I've set that aside, what I'm going to do is, now that the oil is hot, I don't want all this oil to be in the food. So what I'm going to do is drain it off. I normally drain it off. So I'm gonna drain off my oil and then I will continue. Okay, so now that I've drained off my oil, my nosy neighbor looking through my door. Anyways, now that I've drained off my oil, what I'm going to do, this is how it looks when I've drained it off. Don't worry about those things in the pot because that's just extra flavor. So remember the onions that I had on the tofu? Stop. Remember the onions that I had on my tofu? What I'm going to do is to put that in the pan so that it can start to sear. So after I've done that, and don't wash out your thing because you're gonna use that too. That's flavor. Don't throw away anything, it's flavor. So the onions go in and you start to mix it up or toss it, whatever these clear people say. Toss, stir, whatever. Mix it. That's what I say. Mix it or whatever. Stir it. So this, where my hands are clean, I washed my hands, I've been cooking. So I'm just gonna take this and put it in the pan here with the, remember I told you I put onions, cabbage, red and green bell peppers, as well as some teriyaki sauce. That's the black thing you see on there. Now and tomatoes are also in there, and garlic. Lots of flavor, remember. So now that I'm doing this, I need to wash my hands. So I'm washing my hands. Once I've done this, I will go back to my pot and start to stir. Now I can turn my flame up to, or coil to, medium. With cabbage has lots of water in there. So what you want to do is lay the cabbage there and cover it so that it can steam. Once I come back, you will see how much water has sprung from the cabbage. So cheers, and let's wait now. Okay everyone, so I'm back and I have placed a dollop of butter. You can use any butter, you can use the stick, whatever you want. It's butter, same flavor you're gonna get. So as you can hear, it's sizzling on a medium, and we can leave it there. You don't have to mix the butter in. You can just leave it there and it will spring more water. Don't add anything else to it as yet. 2 more minutes or so, and you know, I don't do time and measurements when it comes to cooking because everything is unpredictable when it comes to cooking. All you have to do is use your senses and your taste and you'll be on point. So there's no time limit in anything. So all you have to do is keep checking it. Whenever I'm cooking, I'm always in the kitchen. I don't go sitting down. I don't do anything else. I'm on my feet until that meal is prepared. So it's prepared with love and lots of attention. That's what makes relationships work. Okay, so now you can see how the cover has steamed up. I'm gonna take the cover off and stir it. Look, it has lots of water. It has wilted a bit. We still want it to wilt a bit more. The reason why the tofu is not in yet, if you are wondering, is because you don't want to overcook the tofu. Whenever you overcook the tofu, that's when it tastes, oh well, it gets like leather, thick, hard, and you can't chew it. Then it gets stuck, as my mother would say, stuck in your throat. Okay, so you're gonna continue to do this stir fry pretty much, and you can see that's a bit of gravy. Now that you can see this, all you have to do, I don't taste when I'm cooking because I know my flavor will be on point. So if you want to taste it, you can go ahead, put your finger on the spoon. I mean, I'm ragamuffin, so it's not gonna be any different. If you feel like it need, me looking at this, I know it need a little bit of salt and black pepper, but I'm not gonna put it in as yet because remember that I had also re-seasoned the tofu with a bit of jerk seasoning, and jerk have salt in it, so I don't want to over salt it, and I already put the butter in it. So let it cook out a bit more. Don't put anything in there. When you should add is at the end, when you're finished and it need a little bit more, you just put it on simmer and then you add. But as of right now, it looks beautiful and it is ready to have the tofu that I have re-seasoned to be placed in it. So now I'm gonna just place the tofu in it. Try to get as much as you can of the jerk back into it. If you're having a bit of trouble, no problem. Just take your fork and scrape it right on in. Okay, now all you have to do, turn down your stove to simmer low and stir fry in your tofu. This looks delicious. You don't want to overpower it with cabbage. I only use a little bit, not even a quarter, about a half a cup of cabbage, and the seasonings, the onions and stuff has also bulked it up for me. So now that I am doing this, it's seasoning, whatever, my stove is clean, so I can drop it right back on in. Okay, so it looks beautiful, ladies and gentlemen. And once this is finished, I'm gonna continue to stir fry. Give it about 5 minutes, taste it, and then I'll get back to you. All right, about 5 more minutes and then we'll be complete with this brown stew, what I'm gonna call it. Okay, let me get that part together. So I normally name my meals according to the PowerPoints of seasoning that I have placed in the food. So what I'm gonna name it is jerk brown stew tofu with teriyaki stir fry. How about that? That sounds great, right? Well, it's looking great. I'm gonna put a bit of black pepper on it, and just a dash, and a dash of salt, because I know it need some salt. So a dash of black pepper for flavoring, and hate putting on salt like this, but yeah, a dash of salt. You don't want it to be too salty. This is ready to tell the salt is gonna let it spring more water. So just a sec, we're gonna do this and let's get back to you. So remember the boost of flavor that I told you to save in the pan where we had our tofu? So I've just put a little bit of water in it, mix it up, and I'm gonna put a little bit of it in here, in the pan, so that we can acquire some gravy. We sit that, simmer that on a medium flame, and let it simmer. It's gonna simmer, and we can simmer it for about 5 minutes. We want to simmer it for. Let's give a time on that. 5 minutes we want to simmer it for, and that will be the end of that meal. Okay, so I'm gonna come back and show you my presentation, so to speak.